Welcome back. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar night on iRacing. Hello again, everybody. I am Gary Gasso, and welcome to Race First coverage of the opening round of Season 222 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, coming to you from the new scan of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth again from the NHR eSports team and the Lionheart IndyCar Series is Steven Larkamp. Steven, new season, everything resets to zero. You know, sometimes the opening race of the season can be just as stressful as the last race of the season. What do you think, everyone, tonight? What do you think their plan is?
Well, as you said, everything has been reset to zero. We, of course, have a new season, a new champion that will be trying to defend his title. But at the same time, everyone is going to be anxious to get things going the right way. Everyone wants that opening win of the season. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially with all the heavy hitters we've got here tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them are going to be scrambling to be able to get the win they want here. And it's going to be a I'd say it's going to be as strong competition in tonight's race as it probably would be for any season finale.
Of course, as you know, Indy cars do not come here in real life. Used to. There have been 3 races here, but for unfortunately a little bit of a tragedy in the third race prevented that race from going to completion. But there have been 2 complete races here back in 97 and 98. There's also been Indy cars that have tested on the Roval, part of an exhibition. Maybe the Indy cars will return to the Roval. Probably the best chance we'll see them at this facility on that Roval. Currently, your provisional pole sitter is Adriano Pinero, 2:17.663. Not quite his track record. Track record was set way back in 1998 by Tony Stewart. 220.498 in that ancient old first-generation IRL car.
Really is saying how as much as things change, a lot of it stays the same, and one of them seems to be pace around here. Of course, these cars are running fixed setups. The drivers cannot make major adjustments. Of course, they can make the in-car adjustments naturally. The weight jacker, the anti-roll bars, and the brake bias are definitely the most prominent examples of such. But the way it is here, honestly, I don't think these guys would want to go much faster on a 1.5-mile track like Charlotte. Of course, Charlotte Motor Speedway is the OG 1.5-mile super speedway. But I recall that time where Champ Car tried to go to 1.5 miles and try to kick up the boost a little bit much, and let's just say it wasn't exactly spectacular in a good way. They actually had to cancel that said race, that being the Firestone Firehawk 600 at Texas Motor Speedway.
Many say that was the downfall of CART. Many say that was the last straw that really broke CART's back in that battle in the Civil War.
Honestly, looking at the history of it, and I myself am quite a history nerd myself in a lot of areas, and especially in motor racing, and I could probably say that it's very likely that that race was the final straw, though. However, however, that won't be the case here. Far from the final one, we're about to get things started for a new season.
Stand by in the garage area. It's time to go racing. With that, it's time to take a look at tonight's starting lineup from Charlotte. But before we do, and if you enjoy Race First coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split and you respect the weekly stream, make sure to support us by smashing the like button below and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next race. We are also interactive. Shout out to your favorite driver, team, or whatever, or just let us know who was at fault in that last crash. You can do that in the YouTube live chat function down below. During the stream, you can talk with us. Now, let's get into it at CMS for tonight's starting lineup.
On the pole is Adriano Pinero, of course. He's been very strong last season. He's looking to make noise this season. He's starting off strong with a 24.048 as his lap time, and only 1/1000th of a second behind him is the 24 of Eric Troiano. A very good performance by him so far. John Silva in the number 8 starts third, alongside Jonatas Martins in the number 21, a new face for us. Adriano Fraporti, an old hand here on the Monday night broadcast, rolls off 5th in the number 6 machine, alongside the number 5 of Alexandre Rigon, rolling off 6th. The numbers seem to be inverted there. Rafael Eckert's number 16 rolls off 7th alongside the 3 of Dylan Moskowitz on row number 4. Row 5 will be Trace Shadid's number 4 and Stephen Lee in the number 18, rounding out the top 10. Mark Murphy in the number 7 rolls off 11th alongside the 19 of Bruno Romanzini. Nate Siefker in the number 11 starts 13th alongside the 22 of Justin Miller. Cesar Cabral starts 15th in his number 23 alongside the 14 of Nate Brody in 16th. Justin the Commodore Dore starts 17th, I should say, in his number 13 machine alongside the 15 of Jim Wallens in P18. Rounding out your top 20 will be Hayato Matsuda in the number 20 machine alongside the 25 of Alex McIntosh. Matt Houston, the head of Race Spot himself, is in this race tonight.
Race first,
I should say. My bad. And the head of Race First himself starts 21st alongside the 9 of Matt Mercer, Houston in the number 17 machine. Alan Maria in the number 23, the last of the drivers supposed to qualifying time, rolls off in the number 12 machine in 23rd place. And alongside him, Bono House, who has been spectacular so far last season. He starts off 24th in the number 2, and shotgun on the field, the number 20 and 25th place, the number 10 machine of Marcel Gagne.
Yeah, Race Spot gets enough coverage from other people.
I agree with that.
Well, a full field tonight. That's going to be pretty important before these tires give out to make your moves early in the run. After that, we've seen in the past that it starts to become a bit of a, well, we'll just call it a parade. But we will see as we're getting ready to go green, getting ready to call the first lap of this season. Stephen Larkin.
Pace car down, Pinero on the throttle already. The new season begins. Green flag in the air. A great start so far for Pinero, but under pressure now, the 24 of Troiano, under pressure now by John Silva, and Silva will clear him for P2 as they work their way. They're trying to get themselves in a file here, coming off of turn number 2 right now. Pinero with the jump, already looking 3 wide back there, nearly. For Porty looking to the outside of Martins. Oh, and already we're getting the understeer train right there. Everyone's scrambling to avoid hitting the wall there, but Pinero will lead. But that battle back there is looking pretty anxious so far. Eckert and Rigon back there, side by side. Looks like Eckert up on the high line there, trying to make that top side work. You can certainly do that here at Charlotte with the setup they've got going here. And look at that, all the way around the outside of Raporti. And he may actually gain 2, maybe 3 positions on that first lap. Fantastic start by Rafael Eckert.
Yeah, just got to be patient here. Pick your spots.
Got to be very careful about it, of course. It's not the widest 1.5-mile track we've ever seen. That probably goes to the likes of the old Kentucky Speedway. But Rafael Eckert, fantastic start thus far. And everyone... Oh, the car on the wall back there! 2 cars on the wall. Trying to see who it is. More cars involved in the aftermath.
Let's see. We got Justin Miller, Nate Siefker. Nate Brody made his way through. Jim Wallen is in the pits. Matsuda is going through the pits with a wobbly right rear. Let's see, Marcel Gagne. It looks like Matt Houston made it through. Stephen Lee looks like he did not make it through, and he is in the pits. Wow, big one already. Where did that start?
I'm looking back here. It looks like originally contact with between the 11 of Siefker and the 7 of Mark Murphy, and Murphy was actually able to save that, but after that, immense net code there from the number 11 puts it looks like Justin Miller. It puts Miller in the wall hard, and then after that, chaos ensues.
Ooh. Just phantom neck. Oh, actually, Matt Houston did get spun, but looks like he might have avoided some damage. We'll see. Wow, yeah, a lot of 6 cars in that incident. 7 cars, actually. I think Marcel Gagne might be having some pit road issues as well as he gets that wobbly right rear. Say that 10 times fast. Getting that fixed.
And looking unrelated to the situation, we actually have a connection failure already for the number 18 of Stephen Lee, who qualified in the top 10.
That's what I was looking at.
Terrible luck for him there.
And that's what I thought he was part of the wreck, but yeah, connection issue. Justin Miller, he's one of our good friends, oval expert, just a victim of a horrible netcode. Nate Seifert, he's the defending champion of the Formula Indy Series that we cover on Tuesdays, mainly known as a road racer, and a road series it is, but trying his hand on the oval, unfortunately, is going to end quickly for him tonight. Nate Brody is another one of those racers too, oval expert, not going to make it much past 10 laps in this particular race, unfortunately. But early on in the race, these cars are packed up, and that's when these big ones can and typically happen.
Indeed, it's the point where everyone is scrambling for track position because, of course, the tire wear is going to be a major factor later on in this race. We may be late afternoon here, but that cold temperature that's going to kick up when the sun goes down, that's still not going to hide the fact that the longer you go on the tires, the more understeer you're going to be feeling, and therefore the less options you're likely to have. And of course, with the aero push these cars are going to have there, that's only going to exacerbate it. And so you're going to be going for as much track position as you possibly can on these opening laps to try and make up the time there and give yourself the best position possible.
Now, the great news about ending your evening early like this, you go grab a bite to eat, go get a drink, in about an hour or two, come back and get in line for the 10:15 race and see if you can make up those points. So nothing is lost yet. It's still early on in the season. These guys get 3 drops, I believe, is still the rule. There's also tire rules. They got 3 sets of tires. They start with 1 set on the car, 2 in the pits. We will be seeing 2 road courses this year as well, and it's where we'll have a whole different discussion about tires, where there will be different compounds and the good old push-to-pass button.
Indeed, it's something that's definitely my cup of tea myself, but that's one. And there's obviously, and of course, there's new rules this season, I should say, for the tires here on the road courses, especially. There's going to be a new rule that enforces you have to use different tire compounds, whereas last time you could just stick with one compound and you just go with it the whole race. The only thing was you actually had to qualify on them. So this is definitely a new season where there's definitely some curveballs being thrown at these guys, but we're getting ready to go back to green once more, ending lap number 7. Pace car is off. Pinero holding them back. Now he jumps on the throttle. Green flag back in the air. Silva trying to go with him. Troiano trying to stay with them as well. Already getting themselves spread out, of course. There's single file restarts naturally. But Pinero off to, once again, a very solid start thus far. Let's see if John Silva can stay with him.
I want to say hi to the guys in the chat. Nate the Great. Nate, thanks for joining us. Joe Ritter, he said that his computer is not ready for tonight, and it'll be he's calling a shot for next week. He said he's going to be here next week. That's the as my favorite defending race first IndyCar Challenge defending champion.
Yeah, it's a shame to see that he's not in this race tonight, but hopefully he'll be able to get some runs in later in the week, because I know he's going to be wanting to have a good result this season. But meanwhile, Pinero off to the best start he can imagine so far for the new season. Of course, Pinero has been absolutely on fire lately in the Indy cars, not just here in the Indy Fix Series, but also in leagues. He just started off his campaign in the Lionheart IndyCar Series alongside myself, and I certainly had my struggles in the season opener at Homestead Miami Speedway. But Pinero definitely made some noise there.
Alexander Ragon gets a little loose off of turn 4, and that is one of the things that happen here. When that right rear gets warmed and you have too much weight jacker in that thing, the car will get loose there. It's all right. It's almost that the air bunches up right there on the wall, and it forms like a bubble, and it actually kind of pushes the car.
Yes, and of course it's that is something that can happen in real life as well. If you ever notice, they're right behind him. Looks like Trey Shadid's around, and that is going to be a caution. Is there going to be one? Another one's collected as well.
Justin Dorr.
Justin Dorr's in it. Dorr is in it as well, and I believe another car It's Matt Houston. Matt Houston's in it as well.
Well, I think Matt's car had the 9 lives run out of it after that first wreck, unfortunately. But let's take a little bit better look about what happened here. Let's do it from the race versus airship 1 here, and see what happened.
Looks to me like Shadid actually got loose coming off of 4.
Yeah, and it was a late loose. Comes back onto the track, and Matt just clips him, and that's it.
Yeah, Justin Dorr, unfortunately, was just a victim there. He was trying to go low to avoid Trace Shadid. He didn't realize that he was going to spin down low there, and of course Matt Houston didn't really react in time to be able to get down low there. Very unfortunate for all of them.
Oh, pump fake for the pits there. And Silva thought he got the position.
Yeah.
So here's the remaining schedule for this particular season. This is season 222. Tonight, of course, Charlotte. Next week, we will go to the not cool version of the Phoenix Raceway. Then, speaking of Homestead, we'll do that in week 3. Week 4, we'll go to Auto Club, which I understand Auto Club has had I think a permanent stay of execution. I think that the plans to shrink that place have been called off. So, if that's the case, holla freaking Luya.
I agree.
Week 5, we go overseas and we will race at Monza, or the long straights and those really quick chicanes. See how these guys do there. Then we go to week 6, Twin Ring Motegi. Week 7, the Milwaukee Mile. Week 8, at start of May. What do you do at the start of May? You go to Indianapolis. You ride in the road course. So that's our second road course race of the year, and that hopefully is on the new scan. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Week 9, Legacy Michigan International Raceway. Week 10, then we go to the IndyCar Oval. Week 11, we go to the proper version of Phoenix. So we got Phoenix twice this year. We have Legacy and the new scan. And week 11 will be the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. And then week 12, we'll kind of end up at where we're started, at least on a type of a configured track. Texas Motor Speedway. It's a little bit different now, but they still have this double dogleg quad oval type setup that these guys are rolling through right here. And we will wrap up the season on that, and that's at the end of May. So between now and end of May, these guys have a long time to go. And these guys that unfortunately found the wall and found the wreck early have a lot of time to make that difference up.
Naturally, yes. And of course, as we said before, that this isn't the only time those guys will be able to do it. Of course, them wrecking out this early, they may well say that I'll stay up a little bit later tonight, and I'm going to go for it again in the next going at 10:15 Eastern time here. Of course, you have a lot of chances to make up the positions here, but still to wreck out on a broadcasted race, no less. And of course, the strength of field on Monday nights in the IndyCar Series. It's still a tough one to get, but of course, it's not the end of the world in the official series.
Well, I need these guys to hustle because I have Lionheart tonight myself. Starting at 9:45, so we need these guys to. Let's not have a lesson in pacing, but let's give everybody watching at home a good lesson in iRacing. There you go, Bruno. We're going through the field right now. I got Bruno Romanzini with a new livery that looks pretty sweet. Dylan Moskowitz back there. Bono House has worked his way up to 10th. He is in that Scotty D livery there.
Fantastic start by Bono House, I must note here. Started second to last on the grid. He started 24th, now up into the top 10 in P10. So another great start by the Dutchman here tonight. He's mostly a road racer, of course. He's raced in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. He's raced in a lot of high-profile road racing events. He's, from what I've understood of it, he's not what I would call a regular in these Indy cars, but he's certainly been enjoying them when he has had the chance to drive them, and it looks to me like he's certainly learning the ropes pretty quick.
A car currently on pit road. That is Cesar Cabral. Looks like Justin Dorr is back in the action. Matt Houston back in the action. There he is.
Amazing they were able to get that fixed, both both Dore and Matt Houston.
Stephen Lee on the racetrack.
Yep, Stephen Lee is back on. 2 laps down, unfortunately, for that number 18 machine. That disconnect really didn't help him there. It could have been a lot worse if it happened when we were under green flag conditions, though. But we'll see what he's able to make of it. Lights are out once more on the pace car. We're going to start lap number 17 out of 75 here.
Yep, it's still a little too early to hit pit road to go the distance, at least for these leaders at the moment. It's going to be right around lap 25 if it was green flag racing. With a couple of yellows, going to be a little bit later, but good start by Pinheiro. Silva actually fades back a little bit, causing Troiano to having to check up, and we're back underway.
Great start by Pinheiro once more. Caught Silva flat-footed a little bit there. Can Silva catch up, though? Of course, he'll have the slipstream there as they work their way to the bottom side of the track there. Troiano trying to stay in the slipstream now of Pinheiro. And looking behind them, Rafael Eckert now under pressure from Donatas Martins. They're looking to make a battle happen right there as Eckert staying with Troiano, trying to stay in the draft once more. But Martins looking everywhere he can to make a move there, and Silva starting to work that high line there, trying to throw Troiano out of the slipstream off of 2.
This battle for 7th, we got 4 cars right in a row. Now we're watching Bono House as he's bringing the house, looking to get down underneath Fraporti here to get that position. Yet another position gain as he's coming. Ooh, clips that little paint on the inside of the racetrack there at the double dog leg.
That, I believe, would be an off-track if iRacing system caught that one.
I don't think he was off enough. I don't think he was off enough.
If it was definitely pretty close. But Bono House looking to the low side of Fraporti there. Fraporti, of course, the grizzled veteran of the 2 when it comes to IndyCar competition. But Bono is definitely giving him a lot of things to consider right now as he's still trying to stay in the draft of Bruno Romanzini as he's setting his sights off on the 3 cars in front of him as Alexandre Gon now is joining that 3-car battle for P4.
And they're starting to catch those 4th, 5th, and 6th here. This pack right here, they've just gotten in line and now they're starting to organize a little bit. Riding along the shoulder here of Bono House. It's like he's starting up on the high side, and as he downshifts going into the corner, brings the car down.
Running sort of a higher line there in the middle of 3 and 4 there. And
really low line coming through the start-finish area.
And once again, we are starting to see that game that you play once more in the IndyCars. It's that game of find the clean air on corner entry. That is one of the more important places to have a lot of airflow going over the car. And when you're trying to get the forward bite and trying to get yourself to have as much grip as possible right now, as House now trying to run up on the back of Fraporti, who's having to deal with Romanzini in front of him. And Romanzini is certainly not making it easy for Fraporti right now. Fraporti is stuck in the dirty air right now, and so is Bono House in this case, as he's going to try and make the momentum work coming off of 2.
House has nowhere to go. Oh, there he goes. Aggressive overtake opportunity there.
Looking down low there, not quite doing it right there. Bono House now losing a bit of ground to Fraporti as Fraporti's got the momentum on his side, looking to make a move on Romanzini. Romanzini working the top side here. Fraporti looking low, not quite there yet, but Bono House got himself a little bit off his rhythm right there, trying to get himself up to these guys in front of him now.
Yeah, if you've ever watched the old IndyCar broadcasts from the 80s and 90s when they had Bobby Unser in the booth there with Paul Page, he always said that these cars are like a flywheel. It takes a little while to get all the momentum up, but once they up the full momentum, watch out. But once you have to let yourself off the accelerator, you have to build that momentum all back up again. And sometimes even cracking the accelerator just a tiny bit takes a full lap just to earn back that momentum.
I would think that if the great Bobby Unser were in the booth once more, if he were still with us today, he probably would agree with that assessment. And he would probably be hearing me say, I agree with his assessment there. You lose a bit of momentum in these cars. It does take a while to get back up there. it really is, you lose a few tenths, you have to fight a full second's worth to get back up there. And Bono House right now seems to be doing that quite well, as Fraporti starting to drop off the back of Romanzini, and Bono House looking to the low side in one. Side by side off of 2 there. Bono House with the nose coming down the back stretch. Looking once more into turn number 3. And he will
can't
clear
slide
him.
up. Can't
Almost.
slide up.
No, not
Can't
quite.
slide up. Oh, Fraporti almost into
Not
the wall.
quite there.
Fraporti, look how he cut down across that that quad oval area there. That is actually just painted asphalt. That is not grass right there. And he was aggressively trying to get back at that. That might actually have damaged him somehow. He seems to be now under the attack of Dylan Moskowitz for that position as well.
Moskowitz looking low there, and Fraporti he has lost a lot of momentum there. He's trying to recover it, but he has lost a lot of time to Bono House. But Moskowitz is not going to let him, and is not going to have any sympathy for him, I don't think.
No. Moskowitz sees that as an opportunity.
Very definitely. Yeah, and you give an inch, and that's the nature of this kind of racing. You give an inch, a lot of these guys will take a mile. As Moskowitz not quite able to make that momentum work in his favor once more, as he's now falling back under pressure by Alan Murray and Alex McIntosh. Both of those guys actually started outside the top 20 and started around the back of the top 20, and they're up in the fight for a top 10 right now. But Fraporti now trying to get himself on a more even footing, as it were, and trying to get himself back up to Bono House, who's now running all over the rear end of Bruno Romanzini.
Yeah, looks like Fraporti is starting to reel them in, but let's take a look at this battle 4-6 now with Romanzini and Bono House. And real quick, let's take a look at the front, just so people are like, hey, I need to see the leader. What's going on with the leader? That's your leader right there. He has a lead by 0.7 of a second. Really not a lot to go gaze upon there. So let's get back to this battle with House and Fraporti and Romanzini. It's a little bit farther on back. These guys are approximately 4.5 seconds behind the leader.
And Bono House will clear Bruno Romanzini to take P6. And Romanzini,
he's not going to let him have it easy.
He's not going to have it easy, of course. Looking down low once more. Drifts up a little bit in the middle of the corner there. Bono House zooms around the outside there. Very well done by the Dutchman as he moves up to P6 after starting 24th on the grid. A fantastic drive so far.
A full testicular volitude mood there. He laid it all on the line on the outside there. Oh my gosh.
It certainly is a form of racing where you definitely need some fortitude to be able to make bold moves like that work here. Bold moves and a little bit of planning as well. You need a little bit of strategic insight, and that's what the best of the best have. Bono House, of course, not the most experienced in the IndyCars, but he is very experienced in other very high-end competition in the iRacing world. And he, of course, using that to good effect to learn the car quickly, learn the form of racing quickly, and making up a lot of spots in this race.
Matthew Mercer making his way around Alex McIntosh for P12.
Mercer started 22nd. He himself is up 10 positions. A really good start for him as well.
Justin Dorr in a battle right now with Marcel Gagne. It's like Dorr has been able to recover from that incident we saw early on. Back there in a battle in the mid-pack.
And Justin Dorr, like, I would imagine after that incident happened, he probably was worried that the car was not going to be working the way that it should and maybe even was damaged beyond repair. Very fortunate for him that he has been able to keep it going as is. Working lap number 36 at this point.
And I'm thinking we got pit stops here soon. Yeah, I'm thinking we got pit stops here soon.
And meanwhile, looking at that lead pack, Adriano Pinero holds just over a 1 second lead over John Silva. Rafael Eckert, 1.4 seconds behind Silva in P3. Jonas Martins, about 4.5 seconds back from the race lead in P4, and he has still got, and Alexandre Gon, by the way,
is in P4.
Has gotten around him.
Yep.
He's up to P4 now. And catching up to those two right now as well, putting in consistently quicker lap times than those two. it's Bono House. He's catching up to this top 5 battle right now. Could he well go from last to a top 5 finish? We'll see. But the way it's looking now with as long a green flag run as we've had, this is usually the point where a lot of these guys have got themselves into a rhythm, and a lot of them are going to be able to keep the car underneath them, not really drive themselves too terribly hard here unless they're in a major battle for position. And Eric Troiano is out of the race. I actually just noticed. Eric Troiano, who started second, I'm not sure what happened to him, but he is out of the running right now.
Well, you are in the window here. If anyone wants to stop, they are in the window now to get to the end. It'll be close.
They certainly are. We're thinking about 50 to 55 laps is what the fuel number will be for a lot of these guys. Of course, with 2 caution periods,
Brown House, another position.
These guys are definitely going to be saving fuel for sure.
Maybe House. Go ahead.
They may be able to stretch it out a little bit longer, but one other consideration for a lot of these guys in the back of the pack here.
Here's a first. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off again. First of the leaders are pitting. We got Jonas Martinez, or Martin, excuse me, on pit road. He is the first of the leaders. He's going to he's had enough with these tires.
Martin's making his way down pit road, 45-mile-an-hour pit speed limit. It always feels like agony doing this as he finds his pit stall here.
I have to go back and find those old IndyCar IRL races and see what the pit road speed limit was there. I can say I did. Right, you're right. There wasn't one, but I could definitely tell you because I know we always complain when IndyCars go to Dover that 35 miles per hour is not the way to go there. When IndyCar went there, it was 60 miles an hour. So we can go at least twice that if the game will allow us.
Very much so, and hopefully some people and hopefully someone up in iRacing is hearing that statement, because I myself would very much like to see, at the very least, I like to see options for pit road speed limit depending on the form of racing that is being held. But that's a whole other rant for another time, I would say.
Well, I mean,
Jonas Martins makes a solid pit stop.
Yeah, I sure did. And if you're gonna release like the Buick Regal stock car from '87, there weren't any pit road speed limits in '87. So therefore, those rules should impact, or should reflect the vehicle you're racing. Same thing with the Lotus 79. Same thing with the Lotus 49. All that stuff that didn't have pit road speeds. The pit road should have no speed. But unfortunately, that I don't know if they can somehow remove that coating or tell that coating to shut itself off or whatever when the races is loading with those vehicles. But it might be a hard thing to do with multi-class racing if someone wanted to put 87 versus next gen cars or whatever.
Very possible. I would imagine it is certainly possible. And looking back here at P2 right now, battle on for second place. Rafael Eckert has caught up to John Silva. Looking to the low side in 1 and 2, he will clear him. Silva about 0.2 of a second off of what Eckert was able to run over the previous lap. And now he's that was a choppy move there. Eckert trying to defend hard against Silva. I think that was a bit over aggressive, I would imagine there, but Eckert does hold on to second place, working lap number 48. So move Rafael Eckert, who started 7th. He's up to 2nd right now.
Now they need to use lower gear so much to rotate the car through 1 and 2. They're dropping the 4th gear now.
Amazing. That not something you normally see on mile and a half going down.
Sorry, it looks like there was a car, and it might have been Eckert there. Looks like he had an exit off of 4 and actually went through a bit more of that double dogleg paint than I expected him to go through.
Actually, looking at it, may have been the lap car in front of him.
That'll be Matt Houston then.
Matt Houston in front of him. He's letting him go there on the low side there, but we are starting to get closer and closer and closer to the point where a lot of these guys are going to be considering coming in. Tire wear does seem to be satisfactory to these guys. They are willing to go out there for a long while, with the exception of a few of them who came in early for the benefit of fresh rubber. We'll see how that strategy plays out for them. But working lap number 50 here, I would imagine a lot of these guys are looking at that fuel gauge saying it's got to be in the next few laps or so. But Pinero, he's certainly loving the situation more than most right now. He's up to 3.5 seconds to Rafael Eckert, and he himself has pulled out 1.2 seconds on John Silva right now as he's dealing with the lap car of Matt Houston. Houston trying to let him go on the low line there, and he will do so.
Here's a battle for 9th and 10th, Moreira Moskowitz.
Dylan Moskowitz worrying about Moreira up there on that top side there. Moreira gets a great run off of 2. Clears him.
Yeah.
There. And now they've got a lap car behind them, but behind all of them is Matthew Mercer right there in the number 9 machine.
Moskowitz almost floated up into that wall. I bet you he's wanting to get on pit road here soon.
And I'm thinking he wants to be rid of this lap car right now. This has got to be very frustrating for him. It's bringing Matt Mercer up into this battle right now for position number 10. As Mark Murphy is signaling that he is going to be coming onto pit road this lap. Murphy in 7th place is coming in. And so is Adrian, and not Adrian Forporti, I should
Bruno
say.
Romanzini.
Romanzini's in.
I like that livery. New paint job that he's working there. Looking good.
Very nice looking cars. We're used to, and that we have a lot of beautiful paint schemes we see very often here in IndyCar competition as both Romanzini and Murphy make it into their boxes. Romanzini down and away, Murphy down and away. Making their way out here, and they got to be careful of this pit exit. The transition onto the banking is very unforgiving here.
Yes.
You gotta be very careful you're not going too fast here.
I was given a very good pro tip on how to get out of this pit road when you're doing qualifications here. I don't want to share it online because it actually worked pretty well, but there is a method to actually improving your qualifying lap, getting the momentum built up by just that exit at period.
Caution's out right when Pinero was about to come on the pits. He stays out.
Oh, we got it.
Getting a penalty.
Oh, no, we're caution. We're under caution. Well, wait a minute.
We are under caution.
Yeah.
Yes. And Alan Moreira is in it. Alan Moreira has spun. He actually lost it coming off of turn number 4 there. It's the same situation we saw before on the previous yellow with Trey Shadid. Moreira just slides off of turn number 4, I should say. Slides all the way down the start-finish straight. And where he stops, he just barely triggered the caution.
Yeah, he did.
Almost got another car with him.
He clipped the wall just slightly. Did a little bit of a best impression of the Dukes of Hazzard there over the grass. Tries to get it going. By this point, we're under caution. Almost gets Mercer on the way out there. Hopefully, that's not a penalty for him. And is trying to get the car up on going straight here on the banking. So, interesting situation. And now, those guys that pitted early, well, I hate to say it, but they're kind of screwed.
I would imagine so on older tires as Adriano Pinero, Rafael Eckert, John Silva, Alexander Ragon, Adriano Forporti, all the leaders are coming in. This is the right time. This was the right time to do it. And Pinero had a very close moment there. As soon as he realized the caution was out, he was actually coming onto pit road. He stayed out to avoid a penalty there. And that may well have saved his race.
Decisions of split second is what can be the margin of a win or a loss.
Very close call there, but we'll see how everything cycles out now as the likes of Jonas Martens, Bruno Romanzini, Matt Mercer, Marcel Gagne, Mark Murphy. These guys have got to be fuming at this situation there. They were banking on the race going green pretty much the rest of the way out, at least as far as the pit stop cycles went. But now they're going to have to get waved around, and they've lost a ton of positions here. As right now, the top 12 are being scored on the lead lap. And one of them, by the way, is Matt Houston, who
Yeah,
was involved in that record.
made his way back to the tail end of the lead lap. Good job there, Matt, the boss man of Race First. The car making I believe that's Stephen Lee. Yep, that's Stephen Lee making his turn on the pit road.
Yeah, Lee was already 2 laps down there. He was being scored 1 lap down there, but I believe he just didn't have the fuel that he needed there. But looking at everything here, as now everything's starting to get cycled out here, we are being shown 16 cars on the lead lap, and right now 7 of them, Cesar Cabral, Alan Morea, Matt Houston, Jonatas Martins, Bruno Romanzini, Matt Mercer, and Marcel Gagne, they are all going to get waved around the pace car, and they are gonna still stay on the lead lap. But you got to imagine the guys like Romanzini and Martins especially, and Mark Murphy, they have got to be absolutely fuming at this situation, and they have got to make up a ton of time on maybe slightly worn tires, but they're still fairly fresh, but it's still not going to be an advantage to them since everyone else is starting off on fresh Firestone.
Shout out to the Commodore P9 after surviving an early incident, has worked his way to the top 10. Good job. Right now, looking at the top gainers, of course, 19 spots for House. 19 spots for House. Plus 12 for McIntosh, who is also your next biggest gainer, and also tied with him is Morera, also up 12.
A great run so far. Once more by Bono House, up 19 positions at the start of this race, and on fresh rubber, I can imagine he is going to want to go for it and pick up spots there. He's already in the top 5. Let's see if he can get a top 3. Maybe even a win if the cards play out right, but Bono House looking to make a spectacular showing in the season opener here tonight.
All the wave around cars. There they go.
Lap cars getting waved around. Pinero will retake his position behind the pace car as everyone else starting to get in the line. We're on 1 lap to green. It will be 15 laps to go. The end of lap number 60, beginning of 61 out of 75. Yeah,
15 laps is not a long time here. And the tires, well, during the day, you probably have 5, maybe 6 laps before the tires are really, the good of them is gone. Maybe you might have a little bit longer at night. We'll see if anyone is going to be a little bit more ballsy than normal because we are now in the twilight hours here on the racetrack.
Track temp has dropped to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, only 3 above the ambient of 77. So this track has certainly cooled off quite a bit here. And we'll see how that affects everyone, how aggressive everyone will be here. I'm certain they will be because it is very much go time for these leaders. Pinero waiting for that pace car to peel off once more. Pace car down, and Pinero jumps on it. Rafael Eckert trying to stay in his wheel tracks. Green flag back in the air. John Silva staying with Eckert right now. They've got a big gap right now over Alexander Vergon. And Bono House looking to the inside of Vergon for 4th.
And he pulls it off.
He got it.
And he
defensive. Dutchman is flying once more. He's up to P4.
And he took a defensive line down the backstretch. The snake is beginning.
Everyone's starting the draft snake right now. Bono House, he's lost time, of course, to the guys in front of him, but these guys are going to be wrapped up in their own battle as John Silva looking all over the back of Rafael Eckert. He looks to the low side through 1 and 2 there.
Justin Dorr, P8.
Once more.
Oh, I hear a wreck. I thought I heard a wreck. Must have been someone smacked the wall.
Everyone's still looking clean and green to go right now. John Silva. Caution's out, actually. That is a caution. It's Alex McIntosh involved.
Yeah, I heard something in the audio, and I'm like, ooh, and I could not see anyone rapidly fall down the order.
I'm seeing Alex McIntosh and Stephen Lee, who was, of course, a lap car involved in this incident here. But it has brought out our 4th caution of the night. Alex McIntosh, who is having a decent performance himself here, a fairly new face to us here on the Monday night broadcast. but he unfortunately will have to bring that thing back on the wrecker.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little loose off of 2, and unfortunately, Stephen Lee was there to kind of catch the brunt of that. So now, interesting situation. We now are going to have about 10 to go. Who's going to make a run down the pit road to get new tires? I think these guys all going to have one set left. Who's going to take it? Eckert's doing the pump fake, but I can't picture Eckert doing that.
I don't think Eckert will either. Ragon looking like he's fainting as well. No, he's not either. I would imagine that not very many. I am seeing one coming in, but a lot of the guys up front, I imagine they are not going to want to come in for fresh rubber here. They've just had their pit stops, and it's not going to be too much of a benefit anyway, and you're losing a lot of track position to do so. So I would imagine that these guys are just gonna be go out there and going for it on the tires they've got.
Yeah, this is Jonas Martins, and he is in pit road. Looks like he's going to go ahead and get those tires changed, get fresh rubber in for this last 10 laps. When you're this far down, you're still in a lead lap, but you're this far back in the order, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, certainly if you're far down the order, the likes of Matt Houston, Alan Morea, and Jonas Martins have also come in. Of course, Martins was trapped a lap down on that last caution there. So this is a situation that he will appreciate to a degree. Of course, he's going to have fresh rubber to work with here. But a lot of the guys up front, if I was in their position, I'm certainly not going to be coming down the pit road. This is just the calm before the storm once more. We thought we were going to get the storm on the last caution. Not so, maybe for a little bit, but then it cleared up a little bit after this. So this is going to be when the big one hits, as we're going to be under 10 laps to go at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Matt Houston with the long hold on pit road. Not sure if he just had a penalty or decided to, since he's the last car to
penalty damage.
Well, and there's also maybe he just I'm the last car to lead lap. I'm going to sip on a drink here for a second or two and then take off.
That could be.
We got nothing to lose.
We got another one coming onto pit road as well. I believe that is a lap car, however. Yeah, that is Hayato Matsuda coming on the pit road there. He was already a lap down, unfortunately.
Good looking Nurtec livery.
As we're going to be keeping an eye on the pace car once more. Oh, actually had a close moment there. Rafael Eckert almost ran into the back of Pinero under caution here.
Yeah, and I don't know. Now he's down low. I don't know what...
not.
Are we going to have a VR moment or something?
Here? He is still going. Is he going to come back up? Yeah, he's coming back up now. So may have just been spooked a little bit, but certainly the time to shake those jitters off. Got to get into it right quick, because pretty soon, I would imagine that this lap, I would think, is going to be when the lights go out on the pace car and we'll have one lap to green. We'll see. And lights are out. We have one to green. And it will be 8 laps to go at Charlotte. So we'll see who comes out on top tonight. Pinero has had the dominant car of the evening so far. But there's no doubt in my mind, Eckert, Silva, Bono House, Alexandre Ragon, they are all going to be going for this win. They're all as close to him as they've ever been.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do.
Hearing a lot of them burning fuel on that camera shot right there. So a lot of them are trying to burn off the excess fuel before they take this green flag so they can be as light as possible. It comes down to ounces as well as split-second decisions.
Yeah. It's something we've seen in real IndyCar as well. It comes down to the tiniest droplets of fuel left in the tank, whether you make it to the end, whether you win the race, or you conk out on the last lap. We've seen it before, but tonight, I imagine these guys, they're going to be happy to burn off a little bit of excess weight in the tank to give themselves that little bit of an extra edge. And we'll see who comes out on top tonight. Pinero once again leading. He's had the dominant car of the evening. He's led pretty much every lap so far. Pace car peels off. Will he lead lap 75 is the big question.
Oh,
Gets on
Eckert.
the throttle, tricks Eckert a little bit. Eckert trying to stay with him. He's staying with him to a decent degree. Green flag flying. Pinero already trying to break the toe on Eckert. Running a medium group there, but already on the attack is Bono House on John Silva for P3. Cautions out once more.
Matt Houston is, looks like he has an issue.
Alan Morea's around. It's Alan Morea in the wall. Not too So having a look at it, it was Morea.
Oh, he just got lost. Oh, got loose coming in there. Yeah.
Got loose. And then net-coded by Matt Houston, I'm seeing there. There was plenty of room there, but it showed Houston taking damage there, even though he was nowhere near it.
So that is quite common on restarts. In fact, I was a victim of it last Thursday in the Lionheart Retro Series, where your car, because your car is still coming up to speed, right? So you're going to be a little loose going into turns, the first couple of turns, because you aren't generating the same amount of downforce that you would be at full speed, because you're still coming up to full speed. So a lot of times what people do is they will adjust the bars or the weight jacker into a position where it's a little bit more push than normal, and that way they can get through the first lap, and then by the time they get probably to turn 3, but certainly back to turn 1 the next time around, they could readjust their bars and get back to where they were in the race configuration, and that normally is a way to combat that. But it is a common thing to see cars get loose as we're coming up on restarts.
And it's not helped by the fact that the track temp has gotten cooler, so it may have more grip available when the tires are warm, but it has less when the tires are cold, and that was definitely a cold tire situation there for Alan Morea.
Yeah, so, he's limping it around. I don't know if he plans on trying to finish. I'm sure he's getting the meatball.
And having a look at it, he is being shown the meatball flag, and the same with Matt Houston as well. Houston's already on pit road.
Yeah, if he got the meatball with less than 5 to go, could not be a hindrance on the racetrack, he could stay out there and not get the penalty. But now with 6 to go, he's going to have to make a stop, and that's probably going to be lights out on that car for tonight. We will see how long it takes for his crew to probably get that repaired, but not a lot of time left with 6 laps to go.
Not a lot of time at all, and of course, he does have to worry about going a lap down right now as the leaders are going into turn number 3. Can Morea get back out there in time? He's being scored P15 as Houston pulls away. He's going to stay on the lead lap amazingly after everything he's been through tonight.
That is outstanding. I mean, to see people like Justin Dorr and then Matt Houston, and there's been a couple others that have been involved in wrecks already tonight that are still out there slugging it out, says something about how these cars get repaired on pit road with the new... as they keep updating the IR18, making the damage model more and more friendly for cars to return to races. Sometimes your car gets fixed all the way, sometimes it doesn't. That's kind of what happens in real life racing for that matter. But these cars are remarkably repairable on pit road.
Unfortunately for Morea, it looks like he will go a lap down here, so that's his chance of a higher position done and dusted, unfortunately.
Now, McIntosh still has time to make up that position. So there's McIntosh right there in P18. He can move up to P17 if Morea does not get out of the pit. So right now, McIntosh is wanting that car not to pull out.
Yeah, McIntosh is going to be hoping that Alan Morea is getting the dreaded notice on his pit timer. Too much damage, we're done. But meanwhile, that's far from the minds, I'd imagine, of the race leaders. And having heard Bono House on the radio, he's been frustrated with all the recent cautions right now. He wants to get these positions. He's had a strong car all night, and so is Pinero, of course. But Eckert and Silva, they're still going to be in with a shot at this one. Coming off of turn number 4, when the pace, looking at the pace car lights once more here. And that will give us a clue as to how many laps. If the pace cars lights go up now, we'll have a 3-lap shootout to end this race.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand his frustration. I mean, first of all the positions that he's gained, and now every caution lap is just a free lap to Pinero, another free lap to Pinero, and Pinero likes it. He's like, you guys can crash all day long behind me. I will be gladly to take gladly take a checkered flag under yellow.
Certainly something that he's digging right now. Lights are off on the pace car once
Come
more.
on, it's more exciting than that.
3 more laps we'll
Lights
have
are out.
here. Hopefully, if we get a caution on the first 2 of those 3, that will be race over. If we get the white flag, they're going to be racing all the way to the checkers, regardless of an incident.
A natural green-white checker, not one of those gimmicked ones.
Yes. That's what makes IndyCar so great. It's all natural.
They always say the people that I get in that argument with in NASCAR, with all the the playoffs as a gimmick, and they'll come back and they'll say, well, push to pass is a gimmick. We're not the one that came up with push to pass first.
Yeah.
So
that's something that's been around for a while.
Yeah, but like push to pass is a gimmick, and well, whatever. The lucky dog is a gimmick. The playoffs is a gimmick. Green-white checker is a gimmick. Real racing should be decided in the amount of distance that the race is advertised for. And hey, if you're a paying fan and you wanted to see them go to distance and they didn't make it, hey, that's racing. That happens.
We are racing once more. Let's get them to that race distance we're talking about. Green flag to flies. 3 laps to go. Pinero with a great jump as he hoped. Eckert still trying to stay in his wheel tracks there, but he's got John Silva to worry about. Bono House had a bit of a sluggish restart there. He's dropped a little bit behind Silva, but that's going to catch up right quick there. Silva all over the back of Eckert, looking everywhere to try and make a move for P2. 2 laps to go.
Don't think we're going to have time.
It's going to be tight, I'd imagine, here. Unless something tragic happens to Pinero right now. Is looking pretty strong for him right now as Silva bobbling there off of 2. Bono House looking everywhere around him. He's going to be looking low in the 3 here. This is for position number 3. Bono House from 24th to 3rd. He will have a nose at the line there. White flag in the air. Pinero holding on to a comfortable lead, and Bono House will hold on to P3, coming off of 2 for the final time. But Adriano Pinero from the pole, he's had a fantastic season last year. He's going to start up the new one the best way he can. Checkered flag flies. Adriano Pinero wins at Charlotte.
Wow.
Great finish. Rafael Eckert, P2, and Bono House from 24th to 3rd. The Flying Dutchman is certainly flying on these super speedways. But Pinero bringing home the win once more. And we're about to get some donuts here with all 3 of them, it looks. All 3 of them sticking around, looks like. Actually, Eckert is just going to be pulling it off there as John Silva doing donuts there in P4. And P4 celebrating alongside his countryman, Adriano Pinero.
Let's bring up today's final results from Charlotte here. Your top 3, you just saw it right there. Adriano Pinero, P1, Rafael Eckert, P2. Bono House rounds out the podium, bottom step at P3. Your top 5, John Silva, Alexander Ragon had a good race and got himself up to 5th. For Porty, Romanzini, Moskowitz, Mercer, Dorr. Dorr with a great run back up to 10th. That's your top 10 right there. Gagne, Cabral, Martins, Houston, and Murphy. That is your top 15. Further on back, Morera, Matsuda, McIntosh, Brody, and Lee are your top 20. And your top 25 rounding out the remainder of the field. Troiano, Wallen, Shadid, Siefker, and Justin Miller. Let's take a look and see if there might be any interviews. I don't know.
Looking fairly quiet down there for the time being.
Well, we are kind of on a tight schedule, so we will we'll kind of start in the position of kind of wrapping this up. But if someone pops in there, we will grab them and bring them into the broadcast. Your final thoughts on tonight, and your first thoughts about hitting the not proper version of Phoenix next week.
Well, it's certainly Phoenix Raceway. Regardless of what configuration it is, I always like a good race at Phoenix here. Of course, we like the old 2008 one, the one with a lot more character in it. The one, well, we always call it the fun version of Phoenix for a reason. But regardless of that, Phoenix Raceway, it's going to be quite a challenge to make moves there. But the track itself is very demanding as well. And I think that one could throw up a lot of curveballs to a lot of these guys here. So I think Phoenix is going to be... It's going to be a challenging one for as far as racing goes, but I think it's going to be so in a fun way for both drivers and for us alike.
All right. Well, we're kind of waiting around. I don't really see anybody. So, again, kind of on a tighter schedule than normal tonight. We'll kind of get in the position of wrapping it up here and send everyone on their way for the rest of their Monday night. So that is it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Charlotte is Adriano Pinheiro with first win of the season, Rafael Eckert, and Bono House. Join Race First again next week for round 2, the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split of Season 222 at the blasphemous version of the Phoenix Raceway. Coverage begins at 8:15 Eastern Time. Again, that's 8:15 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we have been able to bring you commercial-free coverage of the last 2 fixed Indy seasons. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our Season 222 Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split Broadcast Fund. We do realize times are tough, and if you've seen the price of gas, you know what I mean. Well, every contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Monday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please support Race First with the weekly grind. Please leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more Race First's iRacing programming, including our exclusive Tuesday coverage of the Midwest Kidney Warriors Formula Indy Series, and starting this Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and continuing for the remainder of the NTT IndyCar season calendar, Race First will be your home for iRacing's IndyCar Series Top Split. That's the IndyCar Series. That's the third series you guys see that's in the schedules on iRacing. So join myself and Turn 4's Racing's Nick Sudik as we'll be bringing you all the action right here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. For business inquiries and to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Godso, on Twitter at Gary Godso. So for Stephen Larkamp and everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Godso saying to all, good night. Thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and please come home safe. Thanks again. Catch us next week at Phoenix for the next race of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split. Good night.